And this is my very first hosting of a Zoom event, so best I can. I want to thank everyone for joining me. My name is Kim Dayhoff. I live in Osage City, Kansas, and we are, of course, are blessed to have one of the summits in Kansas City. And it was one of the largest summits they had. They had, of course, 4 this year, the 25th anniversary celebration, Juice Plus, and they had over 800 people attending. I know on the Friday evening portion, which was the free guest portion, there was standing room and sitting in the back because everything was just crazy filled up, which was awesome. So the Friday evening piece was Stephen Ritz, who he's the Tower Garden king. I mean, it's just like right now he's in Dubai because he has turned deserts into sustainable food. So if you guys have ever looked him up on YouTube or maybe have ever seen him at a conference, he's pretty crazy, but he's pretty awesome. So he was a teacher. I'm a teacher myself, so it's pretty neat to see all the stuff that he's doing with the Tower Gardens. And then also Dr. Mitra Ray, she spoke Friday evening, and she spoke about her microbiome talk that she always does, along with the Shred 10. And then she also, at the end of her presentation, she got to join the dancers. There was a group of dancers that had a routine, and she was part of the routine. Of course, she had to probably kick off her 5-inch heels before she could do the dance, but it was pretty cool seeing her in there, and she evidently learned the choreography, so it was pretty awesome. So that was Friday night, and then we had heavy hors d'oeuvres afterwards. So talk about trying to squeeze in, 800 some people in all these lines of eating amazing hors d'oeuvres was quite the challenge, but it was wonderful seeing a lot of new people, new faces, and so forth. I did get to see Susie Cruzy. She was actually sitting right in front of me, and I happened to look. I'm like, you kind of see a profile, and so yeah, so her and I had to give each other a big hug since she's the leader of our Brave Leaders program that we're involved in. So for Saturday, it kicked off with Jay Martin, who is the founder of Juice Plus. He spoke, and his big thing was the power of 2, of having a buddy and be a buddy. And he also said we need to be the best for the world and not worrying about being the best in the world. He talked about how Juice Plus is better than juicing. He spoke how he used to be a big juicer and how it was such a mess, expensive. Again, he also talked about when people do juice, how much they do lose. They lose the fiber versus what, of course, the process of what Juice Plus goes through. He also reminded us that the fiber is still left in the peeling. So there still is some fiber left when they do dehydrate the fruits and vegetables in that process. And he also kind of told a couple stories, which were quite interesting. And I didn't realize this, that O.J. Simpson was a spokesperson for Juice Plus. And I did kind of look that up. And I guess when he was arrested, he had a Juice Plus t-shirt on, which I was like, oh my gosh. So that was pretty interesting. Jay Martin also spoke a lot about the research. I do have some notes here, so if my head kind of turns, I'm kind of double checking my notes. Of course, the bioavailability, the improvement of our immune system that for us that do know about Juice Plus, it was a great review for us to have. There is now 40 clinical research studies, which is great, which of course they're still doing more. And that is in a real world test and not a lab test. Let me see if I can mute. Oh, I guess I don't know how to mute everyone. So I guess if you're not muted, okay, we're good to go. And the Children's Health Study, which we know is now the Healthy Family, is it STARTS? Am I correct on that? I know they've changed it. Okay, it's really, they're trying to hit the young moms markets to get our kiddos healthy, that of course turn into, of course, healthy adults. He spoke about several of the research studies, and he also talked about the Tower Garden and some facts that in 1/2 of an acre, we can fit 1,600 Tower Gardens, which is awesome for sustainability. We can grow produce year-round and also have it be locally grown, because quite a bit of our produce is coming from other countries. So much is being thrown away. I guess, yeah, if you're not muted, I don't know if I can mute everyone besides mute myself. I'm a newbie here, so. Okay, thank you. He also spoke about the omegas, which there are plant-based omegas. And the biggest piece is the omega is going to be definitely more sustainable because we're just killing way too many fish. And it takes 3 to 4 pounds of fish in order to get 1 ounce of oil. And that's also, we have to eat the skin on the fish, which I know I don't eat skin on the fish. So basically, omegas is a lot more sustainable. And let's see, it takes 5 trillion fish are caught and 2 trillion are killed, and about 650,000 are whales and porpoises. So definitely when they are trying to get the omegas from the actual fish, there's so many fish that are being killed that aren't even needed to be killed. So that's why going to the plant-based omega is just ideal. Because they said that he talked about over 90% of all the fish beds are overfished. And a big piece of how the omegas are encapsulated, it's of course a very low temperature compared to a fish oil. A fish oil, they have to heat up to over 200 degrees to extract the oil from the fish. And at that point, it takes the good fat to being bad fat at that temperature. That's why, again, having the plant-based omega is ideal. He also spoke about the business, the franchise model. For $50 a year, you can get your own business, your own franchise. And he really talked about, there's very little needs. You basically need a car and a phone. There's no territories. So you can communicate with anyone around the world. And there's no ceilings, and we don't have to have any products that we have to store, which is great. And basically, we are a serving somebody, healthy living and giving mission. And he also, one funny story he spoke of, he was speaking about the St. Jude Marathon that, of course, Juice Plus helps sponsor, and he participates in every year. So at the end of the marathon, he had a limo waiting for him and some friends, and he got in the limo and he started to cramp up. His leg did. So he jumps out of the limo, and a friend of his, Ron Watkins, was basically jumped on top of him, like he's trying to perform CPR. And he's like, Ron, I can breathe. I have just this leg cramp. Well, Ron realized that they have a huge crowd coming around them, and what Ron was trying to do is Ron was trying to cover up his Juice Plus t-shirt, because as Jay was kind of flopping around the curb trying to get this cramped leg, Ron didn't want everyone to see that he was like the Juice Plus individual. So that was quite comical. And then we had some other corporate individuals that came and spoke, Janet Black and Tanya Oxley, and they talked about the compensation plan. And they had basically 4 big, headings. One was sharing, that you have your, story, and we have our mission, and have it be conversations from the heart. And then building is another key point, and always adding front lines. You want to be able to fast track your business on the business side of it and go wide with adding people to your business. And then growing. We always want to plant seeds of knowledge, information for people and build that structure. And then again, to duplicate. We want to be able to duplicate ourselves for what we know, and can duplicate that to the people that are in our team. And so we can just keep growing wide and deep. So the next piece, we had a couple more speakers. We had a Kristen, I'm gonna look at my notes, I'm not mispronounce her last name, Hanquist and Annie Neinheiser. They talked about their daily habits of what they do every day with making their Juice Plus business very successful. And the biggest thing they did speak on is don't make our kids be your excuse, have our kids be the reason why we need to sometimes miss out on some of our children's events to be able to reach out and educate people. But definitely we're a very family orientated business too. And we definitely need to teach the world. They need to learn about food and about the impact of food. And basically they talked about doing internal work, also external work. And on the internal work is being able to have your own confidence and sharing the business and be a challenge taker and overcome any fears that you may have and figure out if you want to have a small life or if you want to have a big life. So basically daily we need to be refining or redefining our success, overcoming our fears, and understanding what our belief is, especially in the business and the product. They really did emphasize the user upline. You know, they have had the most no's. That's why they're the most successful. And, you know, we all struggle at points. So always to use our upline to gain that strength and understanding when sometimes we maybe have, you know, some moments that you're like, gosh, why does everyone tell me no, or no one wants to listen, and so forth. They also encourage people to be part of the Brave Leadership Program when you do get to that level in the business, and to really just read as many books and listen to podcasts, and again, events. Having lots of in-home events, one-on-one. Doesn't have to be big, smashing, huge ones, but just getting people together and educated with it. The external work they talked about is just connecting with people. It's about relationships and having that conversation, having the real live talk with people, and basically asking people permission to share. Like, you can just say to people, you know, if I send you a video on such and such, can I call you in a few days and we can discuss it? So asking people for permission was a huge piece that really resonated with me. And again, the community is huge. We know this Juice Plus community is just amazing. And again, we're caring way before sharing. So making those relationships established with individuals before we start sharing with them of this amazing lifestyle that we have and products of Juice Plus. They also talked about our DMO, daily method of operation. They did speak of Teamzy. Some teams do use Teamzy. Some use their calendar on their phone to schedule things and kind of keep track. Some people use lists, some people use sticky notes. So there's lots of kind of what works for each of us. So they didn't really have anything that they, everyone has to be doing this. So definitely it's great to fit into what works with all of our personalities. Allie Schneider was the next speaker, and she's from Lawrence, Kansas. Her husband is the KU women's basketball coach. So she talked about falling in love with follow-up. And follow-up is a huge piece of keeping everyone informed and educated. So she just basically, told us, we need to understand what our story is. And then we need to be able to care enough to follow up. And are we those one and done people, or do we keep following up to people that maybe aren't responding to us, maybe have said no for right now? And a few things that she pinpointed is my two national marketing directors, Shelly Mackey and Laura Dorsey. Shelly Mackey was loved on for 8 years from her upline before she said yes. And Shelly is a 100+ club, pretty amazing. She grew really fast in about 4 years. And then Laura Dorsey, who is my direct national marketing director, she was loved on for 5 years from Shelly Mackey. And both of them are right now in Canada at the elite, just extravagant, amazing. It's not any event, I guess, just a get together that the company is treating them and their spouses. So it's pretty awesome. So basically just realizing that someone saying no or someone not replying does not mean that they want you to completely cut them off from their communication. I know that Allie spoke about the pushy versus being professional. And just because we don't get a response, we need, let's say you text someone and you never hear anything back from them. We really need to realize, give them the benefit of the doubt. You need to offer them grace, and maybe they have a lot of noise in their life. Maybe they're crazy busy, because I know myself, when I see a text, if I don't reply to it immediately, I may have forgotten about that text. So she really just talks about to turn the pushy into being professional, how to turn the, oh, I'm bothering someone into, no, we're really caring for that person. And the whole, what do other people think about us, going into understanding what's in this for the people that we're trying to contact and educate about Juice Plus. And she did talk about a couple good books. One is Get Over Your Damn Self. And we really need to understand this is not about us. This is about helping everyone out there that we know everyone needs improved health, or if someone has what they think is great, perfect health, let's continue that with just having a sustainable lifestyle. So the big thing is, relationships. This is a relationship building business, and she's really want us to, to really understand and really embrace how we're following up with people. The next two individuals were Shelly Mackey and Laura Dorsey. They spoke, and theirs was about buddy time. They really do, as what Jay Martin speaks, get a buddy and get going. And they talked about being action takers and solution finders, finding an A+ into any situation. And they basically said, what's stopping people from either moving forward in the business, or what's stopping them from saying yes to Juice Plus? And number one, is their belief big enough? And I know that we can get pretty ticked off or PO'd at some people, maybe how they don't respond to us, or how they respond to us, either by the eye rolling or, oh, good Lord, here comes Kim. Is she going to talk Juice Plus to me again? But basically, they came up with a new little slogan, is when you finally get livid, then your why becomes vivid, which I really like that. And I'll repeat that again. When you finally get livid, that was just a polite way of saying PO'd, then your why becomes vivid and very aware. And they did a really neat skit. They do the Wizard of Oz skit every boot camp that we have. I'm part of Team JCJP, and we have our own boot camp usually. That kind of started just a couple years ago. And they did a really awesome Wizard of Oz, and I'll try to see if I can get the recording of it. Shelly was Dorothy, and Laura was the Wicked Witch. And it was just phenomenal because other team members were, of course, the other parts of the characters. And they just spoke about, how with the Scarecrow was he doesn't have a brain, and Dorothy, which is Shelly, was trying to, they were feeding them gummies, like, oh, you need, omegas, or you need this. And the witch, which is Laura, came flying in like, you can't share this with anyone, you don't have enough courage. And yeah, it was awesome. So I'll see if I can get the recording of that, because it was very humorous, but also they pulled everything out of the research and just how to share, and they put into a really, really neat Wizard of Oz skit, since of course we were in Kansas. So, and also really understanding, what is our why? Is it because of health? Is it because we're wanting to improve our finances, having better, some time freedom? Maybe it's retirement. Maybe we want to travel more. So really understanding what our why is. And then also those that are leaders do not go dark. So it's also, we all have life that happens. So it's important that we keep becoming those leaders, and all of us are, of course, leaders in our own way. And I've always been taught, whether you do a little or a lot, you're making a difference. So the very last part of it was Sean and Jennifer Myers, which, to be quite honest, I just sat there and listened and didn't take big notes. But they just talked about, they've been in the business, since it began. And they basically were kind of told they needed to move out of their one-bedroom apartment based on what income they were making monthly. Like they need to, start driving better cars is what they kind of, thought. But they also just like, let's just be who you are. We don't have any, protocol that we have to look a certain way or be a certain way. So, and also they just said, shine on people. Don't puke or drip, but shine on people. So, and then of course they had lunch for us, which was great. So it was really, the atmosphere of it was, just like a conference, but of course a little smaller. They had the promotions. You can go buy the newest and latest. And for those that didn't see the very beginning, this is the Summit one, and it looks like our Kansas City Royals font. So that's what that was. So hopefully I didn't talk too crazy fast. But if you guys want to unmute yourself and ask any questions, I did record this, so you can always, I'll get that recording shared. So it was awesome, just full of energy. And I was blessed that it was about an hour from where I live. So.
Hey, Kim. Do you have more details and any tips on the Tower Garden or about the microbiome?
Okay, so on the Tower Garden, he just talked about all what he is doing in the school systems and how he has the Green Bronx machine, which I know that's websites and YouTube videos you can watch about it. And that Friday evening was more of a sitting and just listening, so I didn't take crazy big notes, because Saturday we were in round tables, so the setup was a little different. But he just spoke about how he took in the Bronx, their dropout rate is crazy high and graduation rate is crazy low. And through his education with the kids on them growing their own produce and having just that ownership, he brought the graduation rate up to 99%. And so he was able to turn, horrible areas of the Bronx to thriving and living, with the Tower Gardens and just more aeroponic growth of it. And with Dr. Mitra Ray, it's her basic microbiome. She also spoke about the Shred 10, and she just really got into, the sciencey piece of it, about our gut bacteria, and which is just one I've heard several times. I think she has it also, I believe, on YouTube, more of her video. And she spoke about the Shred 10, why every piece of it is important, the gluten-free, the dairy-free, which we know on Healthy Living Revolution.com website. You can go to those resources, and also the shred10.com has also the resources to better understand, why do we need to, reduce the alcohol for 10 days. And basically it's giving our liver a break for 10 days and turning ourselves into getting those baby steps of eating healthier and reducing the toxins from our system and turning it into a lifestyle change, not just 10 days and then you're going to go back to eating whatever you would like. But it's just understanding how toxins are crazy in our world, far beyond what we can control in certain areas, especially, unless we're going to walk around in a bubble, but how we can really go from like not using plastics and going to using glass containers. Because I don't think, I didn't even think about having the plastic wrap on top of my food and how that does seep into your food. So she just spoke about how we can really get rid of the deliberate toxins that we do have control over, and that's our food sources that we choose to eat. So that give you a little bit of insight of those two. Okay. How'd I do?
You did great, Kim. Good job. You passed.
Yay. So
you did good. Hey, did Allie Schneider give you all the link or the info on her follow-up? Because I have heard about that before and seen that, and it's really good.
No, she didn't. You mean like a website link that she has?
I think it's on Facebook. It's in a group that she had, like the screens where she shared the screens. Did she go through that detail?
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, she had
like where she has verbiage of examples on following up.
Yes, yeah, she did. Okay. And I just didn't take screenshots of every one of them.
I think I still have the email. If you want, I can forward it to you and Janet. You guys can forward it out.
That'd be great.
Really helpful. I think it's just and it's in one of their Facebook groups.
Okay.
But I found it really helpful.
Yeah, and she did have some verbiage of how to address when people respond back a certain way, and because
right, yes,
like, what do we say?
Right.
So yeah, so Okay.
Great. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. Is there any other questions? Okay. Well, you guys have a fabulous week.
You too.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
joining.
you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you.